In the spring of 1963, photographer Lewis Morley took a 21-year-old woman to a studio above a Soho club. He asked her to sit astride a reversed chair and snapped the shutter. The resulting picture captured an expression that 60 years of analysis has yet to resolve. It went on to become the most reproduced photograph in British political history. The media machine quickly stripped away any complexity, branding Christine Keeler as a scandalous pinup. They isolated her smiling face, prioritizing a digestible aesthetic over the political gravity of her actual situation. That specific framing created a trap. It froze her in a single provocative moment, distracting the public from the systemic collapse of the British government just outside the camera's view. To understand why this single portrait retains its potency, we have to examine the specific Cold War crisis it was deployed to summarize, and ultimately to sanitize. Between 1961 and 1963, London was shifting. The thriving nightlife of Soho provided a vibrant backdrop for an escalating scandal. At the highest levels of the establishment sat John Profumo. He was the Secretary of State for War in Harold Macmillan's Conservative government. Macmillan was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom at the time. Then there was Yevgeny Ivanov. Ivanov was a Soviet naval attaché, a military expert attached to a diplomatic mission, stationed in London. Keeler was navigating simultaneous relationships with both men. This diagram maps the specific security risk. At the height of the Cold War, the United Kingdom's War Secretary and a Soviet intelligence officer were sharing the same mistress. For Prime Minister Harold Macmillan, this created an immediate, severe vulnerability. A compromised War Office meant the situation had suddenly escalated from embarrassing local gossip into a direct threat to national security. The sheer weight of the scandal finally breached the heavy wall separating the British establishment from its primary global adversary. The tension finally broke inside the House of Commons. The House of Commons is the democratically elected lower house of the UK Parliament. Here, the crisis mutated from whispered rumors into a public breakdown of institutional trust. Profumo stood before his peers and categorically denied any impropriety. That deliberate lie to Parliament was the specific offense the British political system could not absorb. To expose his falsehood, the government needed evidence. They required Keeler's direct testimony, weaponizing her to purge the system of its own compromised official. Providing that testimony cost Keeler immensely. She faced a perjury conviction, severe health issues, and a total loss of privacy as she was perpetually swarmed by the press. The powerful men involved eventually retreated back into the shadows to rebuild their lives. Keeler was anchored to that photograph, ensuring she would never be allowed to leave the spotlight. From 1963 until her death in 2017, Keeler spent 54 years insisting on her personhood. She built a comprehensive counter-record to clear her name. Stacking memoirs, interviews, and public statements, she meticulously documented her own narrative against the establishment's version of events. Her patience paid off. Decades later, historians examined the declassified files and confirmed her account, proving she was far more complex than the single frame Morley captured. Today, the photograph continues to circulate, looking exactly as it did in the 60s, but the correction now sits in the archive right alongside it, available to anyone willing to read all the pages. Keeler's 54-year project resulted in a victory for historical truth. Her life demonstrates that a photograph is only a trap if we refuse to explore the deep, complicated archive standing right behind it.